Hey guys, and it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Gonna smash it from 400 today. We learned how to do Cold as Ice. So this one's got, it's mostly keyboard or piano based. So that's gonna make, so this is gonna be a weird transcription. So there is obviously some guitar lines going on, and I'm going to pay attention to some of them, and the rhythm guitar parts at least. And some of them I'm gonna ignore and play more of what the piano is doing, so we can kind of fill it out and make it sound more like the song with just one guitar. So for instance, this kind of thing. Kind of jump in and grab some stuff, but I'm really focusing on the piano parts for most of these. So as you go through, and you see Mick Jones not playing exactly what I'm doing, especially during the rhythm sections, that's why, because I'm really kind of focusing on the full harmony and not just like the guitar riffs that kind of punch in occasionally. We will kind of do some of those, but around the piano parts, I guess. All right, so now, before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the notification bell. All the good stuff, kind of really just, not just for me, too. It's really any guitar YouTuber, especially tutorial YouTubers, that all of their channels are just going, hitting the algorithm wall and losing. Support them. Like and comment on their YouTube, mine or anybody else's. If you want to keep this whole side of YouTube that we're very niche anyway, but if you want to keep that going, you've got to support the people making tutorial content on YouTube for guitar. Also, if you want to help me out even more with this channel and to keep this going, the best way to do it is actually join my Guitar Academy. I know these lessons are free here on YouTube, but I couldn't sit here and work on all this stuff every week for you guys if I didn't have my academy, because that's what keeps me alive. That's what supports what I do. So if you click the link in the description, that's a free 7-day trial, so you can check it out and have full access to everything. For all my courses, the live streams I do on the weekends just for Academy members, and personalized support from me. So you can kind of get a good feel of it, and then it gives you kind of a week to decide. So please click that link and go check it out if you truly want to support what I do here on YouTube. All right, so let's jump into the track. So I'm in standard tuning here. You know, you could tune the guitar down maybe in certain areas, but there's really no need. Let's play it in standard tuning. Regardless of how they play in it, I'm trying to just kind of do this. It's mostly a piano track anyway, and then obviously we have a real solo about Mick Jones, which we're going to learn note for note. But I didn't even check to see if he's tuned down to E flat or whatever. I'm playing the same fingers in. If you're playing an E flat, you obviously move it a fret away. But other than that, we're really kind of focusing on the whole song here, though. So we have this intro here that's going to start with this E flat. You can hear this called E flat minor or D sharp minor. It doesn't matter if you like working in flat keys. So you know, they have the same amount of sharps and flats depending on whatever. So we have, you can call it D sharp minor or E flat minor. I like working in flat keys. So we're going to start here. We're the 6th fret there on the A string, 8 on the D, 8 on the G, and then 9th fret here on the D, on the B string. So it makes it an E flat sus4. So the rhythm I'm doing here, I'm basically picking it, just really downstrokes and just then killing the pressure there. So you don't have to lift your fingers off the strings, but just release the pressure. So you keep that staccato feel that they have in that piano riff. So you do that twice, and then you resolve it to just a normal E flat minor chord. So it's really just these 4 middle strings we're playing. So all I'm doing now is moving this top note, this 9th fret down to the 7th fret, but we have to readjust the fingering because of that. Still the 6th fret here on the A, 8 on the D, 8 on the G, but now 7 on the B string. So I went from here to there. And the same thing there. So it's 2 hits on the sus chord, then the minor. All right, so that's the pattern. So we have the 2 hits on, and then there's a little bass line in there, which is just a quick little 6/9 whenever we're going back to the E flat chord, it's going to be just 6/9 on the low E string. So we have this. All right, so that's the intro. It just kind of works on that E flat minor chord, E sus, E flat sus, and the E flat minor a couple times with that little fill in it. All right, so then after a couple times of that, you hear the vocals come in. It kind of starts, but we go to a different chord in there as well. So now we have this. You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. So we have a little bit different lick. So when we have this, we start this. You're as cold as ice. And it's going to go to, now to call this chord the proper name. Obviously, when you're looking at this, it's a B major chord, right? But in this key, the right way to call it is actually a C flat major chord. So we actually go from a C flat 6 chord to a C flat major chord. We'll get into theory of that, but it's to spell this chord proper. I know C flat and B are the same thing, so most people just call it a B chord. I get it, but anyway. So we're just kind of doing proper theory here. So you do that little vamp on the E flat, and then when we go to this C flat chord, the little bass line's got one extra note. It goes 6/9, 6 back, and then we jump up here. So that's just you don't really need the full. You want to just do the top note. It's fine. It makes it easier. It's the 7th fret there on the B, 8 on the G, 9 on the D. But we're going to have it as a 6 chord first. So you're going to add the 6th here. It's at the 9th fret there on the B string. So you have these right here. And resolve it down to the major chord of that 7th fret there on the B. So all you need is that. Or if you want to thicken up the sound a little bit, you can add the octave of that. So you see, I'm playing that here, and I'm muting the A string with the tip of that thumb or the tip of your ring finger. So we have this. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. We go back to that 6/9, because remember, it's just 6/9 when you're leading back to the E flat. So we have this. You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. So back to E flat, and it's the same move. You never take advice. So you just kind of rotate between those two chords. Now, from here, it takes us down to the verse. So we go from this, so the second time getting back to that C flat, goes 7, 6, 4. And when you get to the 4, you're gonna do a bar there. And you can play an A flat minor bar. So that's just a full bar at the 4th fret, 6th fret on the A, 6th fret on the D. And this, first time he plays it, now you really hear like a real guitar part come in. And it's kind of a backward strum on that chord. So we had this all together from the You're as cold as ice. Right here. And then we get to the actual verse. All right, so right here is a kind of case in point. There's going to be some chords here, like when I go. I don't think Mick Jones is playing that chord, but it's in the overall harmony of what's going on. So he could just be playing the single note, but I'm not actually sure, but it's not really apparent on the recording. It's more of like I said, it's kind of the overall harmony the band's doing with the, so that's what we've got going on there. So we're gonna start off here. He is playing this. So he plays an F sharp or G flat major chord, call that. So this right here, you can add the thumb on the bass or just kind of play here, but you're gonna wanna play it like that instead of the full bar. Why? Because we're going into an augmented chord next. And that move is a lot easier to get to from this. Kind of playing the chord like this. So like I said, we don't need even the notes on the bottom strings. We got a bass player for that, right? So we can just hang out up here. We can have this G flat major chord. So that's barring at the second fret across the B and the high E. The third fret there on the G string, fourth fret there on the D. I've seen it before, it happens all the time. From there it goes to an F augmented chord. That is the first fret on the high E, second fret there on the B and the G, and then the third fret there on the D string. So this. From there we're gonna go back to this A flat minor chord. And here I kind of really try to emulate what's going on with the piano and stuff. And so you get that little moving bass line going with it. So you can kind of just strum this. So now I'm holding it with different fingers, by the way, so I can move that bass line around. So I still have the full bar at the fourth fret, 6 on the A, 6 on the D. I strum that chord, and then I pick the 7th fret there on the low E string, then back to the 6th fret on the A. So, and then back to the 4th fret on the low E. Okay, then we're gonna move up here. We're gonna go to a B major chord. So that's just a full bar to the 7th with the 8th fret on the G, 9th on the D, 9th on the A string. Then you hear that bass line go down 1/2 step to the 6th fret. And then we're gonna go back to playing a B major chord, but this time, we're putting the C sharp in the bass. So kind of, all right, now if you wanna cheat it, you can just play it like that, or you can do the B, down to the 6th fret on the low E string, and then, so we have that B major chord that we're doing on top. So that bar across the 7th fret of the high E and the B, 8 on the G, 9 on the D, but here we're gonna reach over and grab the 9th fret there on the low E string. I'm muting that A string with the bottom of my ring finger. It's a cool chord. So we have this. All right, from there, go back to the F sharp. I'm sorry, the G flat. To the F augmented again, and then back to that same move on the A flat minor, adding that bass line. And then we go to a B flat dominant 7 chord. So that's a full bar at the 6th fret. And this is leading us back to the chorus again. Or this, in this case, this keyboard solo over the chorus. So that's the full bar at the 6th fret, 7th on the G, 8th on the A string. Kind of a more aggressive strumming on that. So this. All right, and then that just takes us back to the. Now for the rest of the song, you're not gonna hear this really dominant bass line. You're not gonna hear that as much. So from here on out, outside of the intro, I'm just gonna go between those chords without doing that bass line. It makes it much easier to play, so we just. There's a keyboard solo, then it comes into the chorus. You're as cold as ice. And then it goes, so it's the same, basically just without that bass line. And then it just devolves into the same verse. So it goes into the same verse that we did before, so nothing new there. From there it gets to the solo. Now the solo, kick a little distortion in here, it does have a solo rhythm to it, so I will show you the solo rhythm. And then you can choose to play that if you have a second guitar player, I guess. But then we'll check out Mick's solo in a second. So here's the rhythm that's going on underneath it. All right, so that's going to start here at the, it's like power chord at the 6th fret off the low E string. You're going to slide it up to 7. Then it goes to kind of an E flat with B flat in the bass. So you can just play it like that if you want. It's just 6th fret across the low E and the A. You can add that high note if you want, but kind of all really needs those two notes. So this. Then we have this. So there's a little lick there. It goes 4-6 on the low E string, over to 6 on the A, back to 4-6 on the low E, and then you're gonna slide up that power chord from 6 to 7 again. So this. Now, after you slide from that 6 to 7 the second time, then it goes just the power chord down to 6, 4, then 2. Then this quick little chromatic thing. That goes 4-5 on the low E string, and then into that power chord at the 6th fret. Then the power chord at the 4th fret off the A string. So all together. All right, so now let's get to Mick's actual solo. So it looks like this. All right, so this is going to start here with this. I'm kind of just matching. I'm not kind of starting that slide from 6 to 7 on the low E string. But kind of real solo starts here. We have this little. So you can see what he's taking a B major chord here. That's voice across. And he's doing a half step down from each note, kind of pulling off the half step down and coming back up. So everything in that B major. So he has this starting here, and then the first one, it sounds like he does like a pull off a hammer between 9 down to 8, and hammer back to 9 on the A string, and then the rest of them sound like they're picked. So we have 9, 8, 9 on the D, then 8, 7, 8 on the G, 7, 6, 7 on the B string, 7, 6, 7 on the high E string, and then you're gonna hear that slide up to the 11 on the high E string, then go down to 10, and then back to 11. So with this hammer first, hammer pull, then pick. Gotta hear that slide into that note. So just eyeball a B major, and you're doing the same lick off of all of those notes. Top note, the note of the chord, then go down a half step from it and come back up. And then slide up to the 14th and you can hit that note a couple times, kind of killing it after each hit, and then slide from 16 to 18 on the high, then down to 14, and then back to 16 on the B, or yeah, 2/16. From there we have that kind of a bend at the 16th fret on the high E string, then you like kill it at the top of the bend. And then a kind of a slight bend at the 14th fret on the B string. And then 16, 14, 16 on the B string. So far. Then it kind of starts the same that we did before. Except this, when it slides to 11, it's going to stop that. It's not going to do that lick there when it gets there. Got to pick it a couple times, let it ring there, then 11th fret, then down to 9, then 12, 11 on the B. From there, we have this. That part's harmonized. I'm not going to worry about that. This is just kind of what he's going to play live, is the kind of that lower harmony part. And that's going to be right where we're at there. We're just going to come up here now, just do a trill between 11 and 12 on the B. Then between 10 and 11 on the high E. And then 13, 14. Boom. And then from there, we go to that really, really cool bridge. So let me get back to a clean setting here. We're done with Mick's solo. This is, now here, definitely just very piano driven here. It's an arrangement of what's going on. So I'm going to give you 2 ways of playing this one. One that kind of sounds closer to the recording because it's really following the piano, but it's a little bit harder to play. And then one that's a little bit easier. So there is a kind of guitar ending to it, though, that takes us back to the chorus riff that kind of comes in a little guitar riff, and we'll play that as well. So it looks like this. So we kind of have, we're going to start it out, that last little line is actually a little bit of a distorted guitar. All right, but we are obviously not going to be jumping across pedals here. All right, so we're going to start with just a regular E flat minor chord. So we played earlier, just across 5 strings. So we have this. So you can kind of just strum this. Different feel here for this bridge. So this is an E flat minor chord, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go down to a B flat diminished 7 chord with F in the bass. So it's basically just all here at the first fret, so a full bar at the first fret. Like I said, this is my own arrangement of it. This is more of a piano thing. And then we have 3rd fret there on the B, 3rd fret on the D. And this ending of it here, there's a little bass line. 2 on the low E string, and then into this a diminished 7 chord, fully diminished 7. So now this right here, I'm sorry, it's an A flat diminished 7 chord, sorry. So that's going to be the 4th fret there on the low E. I'm muting the A string with that finger. Then I'm barring the 1st fret from the B to the D string. So I have the 3rd fret there on the D and the B with the index finger. And then we have the 4th fret there on the G string, and then the 4th fret on the high E string with the pinky. Pretty cool chord. So it's just diminished 7. So A flat diminished 7. So we have this. So we're gonna a little bass line leading into that. So from the E flat. All right, now here, this is how you can make, now this is not an easy chord, but you can hold this chord while you hear that, dun, 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 and then just start it again. Dun, 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 So like I said, there's no real guitar line there going anyway, so we're just kind of, you can do what you want. So that's the overall, the harmony that's happening there. So you can hold that, or you can try to mimic what's going on the piano a little bit more. So you can basically, when you get to that chord, then jump up here. It just requires a little bit more jumping around. And so what I'm doing there, basically, I'm going to hold the 7th fret there on the G and the 9th fret there on the B, because you can holding those top do notes. And then I'm going to have this bass line that the piano's on. I'm going to have it right there on the D string. So we have it first. So it's just going to be these 3 strings, but and the note that's going to be changing is going to be on the D string each time. So it goes 8 on the D. Well, remember, these 7 and 9 being held. 8 on the D, up to 9, back to the 8, and then down to 6 on the D. So we're going to have to replace some fingers. So 6 on the D, and then move that over to the 7 there on the G. And then up to the 8 on the D. So this. So this kind of comes up. So hold on that chord or do that. I like that. Then the 3rd time through, we have that ending. After this chord, then you hear the guitars come in, go. Beef that up, don't it? So it goes, that little line that comes in on the 3rd time, the ending of the 3rd time through those bridge chords is garage. Yeah. Whatever. So it's that 6, 7, everything's on low E here. 6, 7, 6, 4, 2. Slide back to 7, and then we're gonna go down. 7, 6, 4, and then back to the chorus. So it is. So if you're, if you have a full band, you can just have a guitar player that comes in and just plays that. So you have this. You can just, the other guy can just kind of strum the hard stuff like. Dun 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 dun, and then the guy comes back in with it. And it just does that chorus riff over and over again until it fades out. So it's a fun one, but it's kind of a weird one because, especially for the rhythm guitar part, it's got a very cool solo in it. But beyond that, it's mostly like a piano-driven song. So if you want to make it a convincing version of it, you need to really be focusing on that. And then throw some of those kind of guitar parts in when you can. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.